Men are taught to pursue women. Men are taught to chase women down and hunt women and prey on women. No question. But what men really should be taught is we should be taught how to remain intentional throughout the duration of our relationship from beginning to end. You see that is the way that the most healthy relationships function. If the man is, and we can say chase in this case, I'm replacing intentionality with chase, right? If a man, and we can use chase, I'll use chase. I just thought about it. We can use chase and we can use pursuit, but the pursuit isn't the woman. It is the woman's happiness. It is the woman's happiness. It is the woman's well-being. Men need to chase and should be chasing the woman's well-being. That is the way the healthiest relationships will function. No doubt, no question about it. If you are in a relationship and you are a man and you are hoping that that woman is chasing you and chasing your happiness, more than likely, you are not going to reciprocate that because you got her where you want her, right? You have the power, you have the upper hand in the relationship. Correct? That's what we see the vast majority of the time.
But if you've been following my work, you know that in general, I believe that relationships are more successful and sustainable when the man is the captain and the adored, and when the woman is the passenger and the adorer.
False. Completely false. Completely false. I know it sounds like the thing that I'm saying is just something that I have observed, which I have observed this, but studies prove otherwise. Studies actually say that that's not the case. And here's why. It's super easy. The reason why this isn't the case is because when men have women in a subservient position or in the chaser's position, like I already acknowledged, men take their foot off the throttle. Once men get women, because our sole purpose is to get a woman and to trap her, manipulate her, subdue her, whatever the case may be, we want to do the least amount of work and get the max amount in return. That's how men are conditioned. When we finally get that, we take our foot off the gas and we completely abandon any idea of pursuing the happiness or pursuing the content of the woman and making sure that woman is content in the well-being of the woman. We do not care. After that, we give bare minimum effort. We just provide. That's our thing. Just make some money. That's good, right? Most of us can't even pay for the woman's entire lifestyle, but just that we bring home some money. But when women are pursued in the relationship, when her happiness is a top priority for the man, that woman, it is proven, she will reciprocate that. So basically, the woman is going to do what she needs to do to maintain the family and to make everybody around her happy. The woman is going to do that. That's what studies show. That's what history shows. So that's why it would behoove men to actually buy into the concept of happy wife, happy life. And I've had this discussion before, but we need to have it all the time until men understand. Listening to men like this dude who's not married, who will never be married, who looks like a sleazy pickup artist, who doesn't know what it's like to be in a relationship with a woman that you love and that loves you, I wouldn't listen to this guy. I wouldn't. I'm telling you, man, without a doubt, if you put her happiness first, if you put her first, right? I know everybody makes jokes about Jaheim, talking about putting that woman first, and then we saw what happened to Jaheim. That's a joke. Put that to the side. But if you truly put that woman first and you put her happiness first and you put her well-being first, she will reciprocate that. She will give that back to you twofold, threefold. She'll make you 10 times happier than you're making her. And you can try. You can. They're just better at it because they're conditioned to be better at it. They're socialized to be better at it. You have to suppress so many parts of yourself to put her first, right? She doesn't have to suppress any part of herself to put you first, put the kids first, right? Or I won't say put you first, but just to make sure that everybody is happy and healthy and content and all of that stuff. That's why it would behoove a man to do that. It would behoove a man to put the woman in his life first. And I have a great example of this. Very good example If you guys are familiar with Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez's relationship from the outside looking in, it very much looks like the thing I'm describing. When you look at Benny Blanco on paper, I'm saying if you look at him, right? He's not a conventionally handsome man. He's not a tall man. Or anything of the sort. He's a creative, that's for sure. But he's not a conventionally attractive man in the ways that most men, think that men should look to get a woman like Selena Gomez, right? One of the most attractive people in Hollywood. The reality is, though, Benny is a special type of person. And I can see that from the outside looking in. I can see he's a different type of man. He's a different type of human being. And I came across this video and I was like, this is a very great example of what it looks like to put your woman first in this instance, the way that I'm describing it.
Lighten up, take me on your magic river. Tell me all your dreams align. Sign me up and tell me about the people that you know who are trying to feel alive. Life can get hard, so honey, if you need to cry, just come
10 out of
share
10.
my
10 out of 10, y'all. 10 out of 10. That was beautiful. And that is what it looks like to be intentional, to, of course, we get it. He's wealthy, and all of that stuff, but you could do something similar to that. It doesn't have to be on that scale. Don't get me wrong, but he is paying attention to the little things. She didn't go to prom. She's a 30-plus-year-old woman now, I'm pretty sure, right? Selena Gomez got to be around 30 now. 30-year-old woman, never went to prom, never got to experience it. Benny said, oh, we could cure that. Made it fun, took her to the mall. You know what I mean? Just creative. Just thinking about her, though. You can tell he puts her first. You can tell he's intentional with the things that he does. So when you're out here wondering, how does a man like Benny get a woman like Selena? You think, oh, it's because he's rich. No, it's not. She's rich. She has way more money than him. She has way more money than him. Significantly more money than him. That's not the way he got her, is by doing this type of stuff, is by being this type of person. That's the way he got her. That's why I would be shocked if they get divorced. I'll be shocked after they get married and all of that stuff, and if they get married and whatever. I'll be shocked if they break up. Shocked. Even for Hollywood, I'm saying, I know Hollywood relationships go like that. I would be shocked. I would. And I don't say that lightly, right? But while he's in it, he's doing the right thing as of now, from what I can tell. And this is a celebrity and all that stuff, and I'm not really into celebrity gossip or anything like that. But, like I said, I know what it looks like. I think I know what it looks like when a man truly cares about his woman.
Familiar with these terms, then you should read my book, The Value of Others, where I go into these concepts in extensive detail. And I believe this because when the man is in this position, he maintains frame. Frame, in this context, is authority vested with power to dictate the terms and structure of the relationship.
Exactly. That's exactly what men want. He's saying it right out loud. He's putting it right out there. It is men wanting to have power and control in a relationship. And the reason why some of these relationships historically have lasted a long time is because the woman couldn't leave. So he's right to a certain extent. They do last sometimes because the woman can't leave. And you have to think, what type of woman would be in a relationship with the man and give him that authority? Probably a weak-minded woman. So you can see, again, how the relationship would last, because she would be so gaslit into thinking that this is the way of things and she couldn't find any better, that she may just decide to stay with a man like him. I can see that too. But this is not healthy, and more than likely that woman will never be satisfied in this relationship. And in modern times, more likely than not, this relationship is going to end in demise.
How it is arranged, how it unfolds, what it entails, who does what are the privileges and responsibilities of each, etc. When men control the frame, relationships have a much better chance of being mutually satisfying and enduring.
Based on what? What science do you have to support that? No science would support that. No data will back that up. I promise you.
And regardless of the mixed messages that they give men these days, the vast majority of women still want a guy that they can look up to.
No, women aren't really giving mixed messages. Women are pretty much saying the same thing across the board: race, ethnicity, age, everything. They're saying the same fucking thing. Every I don't know, 500 women, I run into a woman that's like, I want a man to lead me, and a man's supposed to be the leader, and da 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 da. I rarely actually bump into a woman that is looking for that. She doesn't want to look up to. What do you mean look up to a man? In what way? Maybe, again, the term in and of itself, okay, fine. I look up to my wife. I want to be with the woman that I look up to. Right? So I can see that. But why do I look up to my wife? That's the question. I don't look up to her because she has some authority over me. I look up to her because of the type of person she is, because of her character, because of her work ethic, because of her knowledge. That's why I look up to her. Her ability to be genuine, her ability to be empathetic. That's why I look up to her. Yeah, okay, cool. So I can see women wanting to look up to a man, but for those reasons, not because he's some authoritarian dictator. That's not why.
Be the confident leader that initiates and directs the relationship. However, in about 99% of the relationships that I've personally examined,
just believe, trust me, bro.
The woman is more powerful than the man, which means that she controls the frame of the relationship.
And that's not, men have all the power in a relationship. And hear me out. Why I say that is this. Because men are the reason that the relationship will either thrive or die. So men have all the power in the relationship. The health of the relationship is 99% contingent upon that man's behavior. Period, point blank. If that man is good and healthy, the relationship will be good and healthy. If that man is not good and healthy, the relationship will probably not be good and healthy.
I think this has to do with why, despite the fact that I've looked at hundreds and hundreds of relationships, I can count the number of relationships that I would consider happy, like relationships that I personally would want to be in, on one hand. And I don't think it's a coincidence that in every one of those relationships, the man was more powerful than the woman.
So you just want, you see relationships where men are dominant over women, and that's the relationship you want to be in. But this dude is such a fucking weenie. He can never be in those relationships because he couldn't do it with a woman. Like, look at him. His face is too round. He's too easy to draw. He's not a dominating presence.
So if relationships are more satisfying and enduring when the man retains frame,
they're not.
For both the man and the woman, why is it the case that women so often control it?
Because it's a lie. And again, women don't control their relationships.
Now, there are two main ways that this occurs. In the first case, it happens right from the beginning. The man, who may not be a full-fledged captain, cedes control of the relationship to the woman as an enticement to enter into a relationship with him.
So he means being a simp.
In the book, I call this the sexual strategy of the ferryboat captain. This is how less attractive men beat out their intrasexual competition. They offer women privileges that their more attractive counterparts wouldn't.
A simp.
Ultimately, the frustration of not getting more of what they want from more attractive men, in combination with the gratification of getting more of what they want, at least in the short term, from less attractive men, can motivate women to enter into relationships with less attractive men.
Women think that men are attractive when they give them what they want. And I don't mean that because you guys think women want money and jewels and trinkets. I'm saying when men actually treat women like human beings, he becomes extremely physically attractive to her. So yeah, you just don't know shit about how women think, or how people think for that matter, seems like. Because that's people do that. There's plenty of women who aren't conventionally attractive. Like I know they're not conventionally attractive, but I have found them extremely attractive because of their wit and their charm and their inner beauty and things of that nature. No doubt about it. So yeah, you don't know shit about human psychology at this point.
Where they can, more or less, dictate terms from the get-go. Whether they're aware of it or not, these men understand that happy wife, happy life is the cost of doing business.
Happy wife, happy life is the best saying going in a marriage. Like I'm not even playing.
However, this is not the only way that women come to control the frame of a relationship. In some cases, the man enters into the relationship as a full-fledged captain, invested with the legitimate authority such a position enjoys by the woman in question.
Who gave him this authority?
But over time, slowly and insidiously, the balance of power shifts so completely that the man no longer recognizes his own life and can't quite remember how things turned out this way. In point of fact, most men control the frame at the beginning of the courtship process and lose it through small concessions as the relationship progresses. Consider your first date with
who he is describing to me is if you guys have ever seen the movie Old School and Will Ferrell's character Frank the Tank, that's what this reminds me of. Like he had a perfectly great relationship when he was making her happy. And then he was misled. He was the patriarchy got to him and he wanted to revert back to his misogynistic ways, right? When he was a drunkard, when he did extremely embarrassing things. Him trying to fix up an old car, him trying to hang out with his buddies. And you see how that turned out for him in the movie. Granted, it was a movie, but art imitates life, life imitates art, whatever you want to say.
With your girlfriend or wife, chances are good that you approached her with a plan. I'd like to take you out. Let's meet at this time, at this place, on this day, and this is what I'd like the two of us to do. And that she agreed to that plan. You created an experience for her to enter into. That's frame. It's very unlikely that you would have been able to secure that opportunity without creating such an experience. And it's even less likely that she went through the trouble of creating an experience for you to enter into. So most relationships begin with the man in charge. And just so we say the quiet part out loud, that's why the woman's there. Women reward men who use frame to create an experience for them to enter into. They do not chase down men who don't or won't do this. This is important.
He is talking about early on in a relationship when a man is courting a woman. And we all know there's a reason why or reasons why that's the case, because men need to prove to women that we are safe individuals for them to be around. That's what it is. That frame bullshit and all of that, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I know that's some stuff you're trying to like push out there to sell books. It's like Fetch in the movie Mean Girls. Like Fetch is never happening. At this point, frame's never happening, bro. That shit is stupid. But that's all, like, that's what's going on early on in a relationship between a man and a woman. The man is proving to the woman that he is a safe individual to be around.
Important to keep in mind throughout the duration of the relationship, as men will be tempted to surrender frame in a variety of ways over time. This temptation occurs in two primary ways.
He's literally just describing men realizing that they don't really know what it's like to be in a relationship with a woman, and then getting rid of and unlearning whatever toxic ideologies, traits, characteristics, whatever that they may have about being in a relationship with a woman. That's all that's going on there. They're not conceding power. You get more powerful, right? When the more you guys think of control as power. I don't look at control as power. I look at freedom as power. And the more freedom she has, the more freedom you have, and the more power both of you guys have. Both of you guys are now empowered. It's not like now only you have power and she doesn't. Now both of you guys are empowered. So now it's power times 2. But when it's only you that has a certain level of control and power in a relationship, then the relationship is not, you're not powerful and she's not powerful.
Sometimes it's the temptation to escape an uncomfortable emotional situation created by the woman in a bid for more power and control. As I discussed in the Easter egg hunt, these bids typically follow the PSA system of emotional manipulation, or pity, shame, anger, PSA. No matter the particular thumbscrew, the woman applies emotional pressure on the man, who then cedes frame as a way of buying his way out of a difficult dynamic. As I discussed in the book, in its extreme manifestation, this takes the form of an attempted hijacking, in which the woman threatens to leave or divorce if her demands are not met.
He is literally just describing being in a relationship with a man and having issues and then working them out. That's all he's describing right now. If you really listen to what he's saying, that's all he's saying. He's just like, yeah, so you're in a relationship with a man, you break up. I mean, not you break up. You have an issue that you need to address. Typically, the man is the cause of said issue. You address it, and the man goes, okay, I'll change my behavior because I'm the cause of the issue. And he's going, you're conceding frame. You mean growing? You mean growing? I'm really trying to save men right now from ourselves. I truly mean this. I mean, and this is something that I experience in my relationship. This is something I've seen in many relationships. If you read anything on this, basically it'll tell you the same thing about this, y'all. I promise you I will not lie to you. I'm not trying to sell you a book or anything. All I ask is you like, share, and subscribe to the page. That's it. That's all I ask for. You watch the whole video, you like it, and you share it. That's it. I ain't asking you for no money, nothing like that. You ain't got to buy my books. You ain't got to buy my products, nothing. I appreciate you if you do, but I don't need it, right? I ain't asking you for it, I should say. But here's the thing. What I want men to do is, though, I want you to be a happy individual. I want you to be your best self, right? Like I want to be my best self, and I'm not my best self yet. And I'm working towards it. But I want you also to be working towards it. And I want you guys to actually get there. I want us to realize our potential together as a collective. And we can if we stop letting men like him confuse us and distort the truth. Because all that stuff he told you guys is the quickest way to destroy your relationship and yourself. All that frame, not giving up power and all of that stuff. A relationship is not predicated on anybody having power in the relationship. That's not a healthy relationship. That's not how it's going to work. You're going to say different strokes for different folks. Absolutely the fuck not. I'm talking for the masses, not the asses. That is not how most relationships function in a healthy manner. The way you function in a relationship in the best way is for both of you guys to empower one another, for both of you guys to make each other happy, for both of you guys to be intentional, for you guys to listen, so on and so forth. It is really not rocket science. I swear to God. I swear to Jah. It is super easy in that way. It's hard to do it though, because you have to unlearn all the bullshit we've been taught. That's the hardest part. The hardest part isn't knowing what to do. It's doing it. It's overcoming the obstacles that are in your way that prevent you from doing the things you need to do. That's the hard part. That's where the difficulty lies. You know it's easy. You know it's simple, I should say. You know what it is. But we overcomplicate it intentionally. And then we blame everybody else when it doesn't work out. We try to create these bullshit systems. We try to read self-help books and all of this stuff, and none of it works. I'm telling you, the only way to make this work, because women aren't budging. This is what I want you guys to know. Listen to me. Women aren't budging. They're not acquiescing. They're not going back. They are dedicated to being the best versions of themselves, and they're not going to put themselves back in a position where they have to put up with being in an abusive relationship with a man and being destroyed slowly every day by a man. take it. You ain't got to take it from me. You don't want to hear me out. You don't want to listen to your boy, whatever. But I just want to put the information out there for you so that you can have somewhere to go. Because these dudes, these men are misleading you. I promise you they are.